Let's talk about original characters. Have you made an OC? Yes, you have. If you said no, you're lying. We've all made OCs. An OC is an original character, a character of your conception, someone you've probably been obsessively drawing since you were 5. You know how it is. Whether it's a fan character from a show or game you love, or that character from the novel you're definitely gonna write one day. You can do it, by the way. I believe in you. Let's all write our novels. We got this. We've all got OCs. Everyone loves talking about their OCs. I love listening about OCs, and I've noticed a couple trends in the OC designs of people I've met and OCs I've seen online throughout the years. So here are the 7 OCs that everyone has made. OC number 1, the punching bag. We have all made the most tragic story we can possibly think of. Let's face it, tragedy is fun to imagine, fun to come up with, fun to talk about, fun to read about, fun to draw. We have all made a tragic character with the most tragic backstory we can possibly conceive. How horrible can we possibly make this character's life? I know my punching bag has a pretty terrible backstory. We can talk about that in a different video. Why do we make the punching bag character? Probably because we've had something terrible happen in our lives and we want someone to put that aggression onto. The punching bag character receives the brunt of our emotional trauma, whether it be from our youth or our terrible jobs. This is the character that will never have an easy time no matter what they do. But sometimes it's a bit more of a coping mechanism. You know, if you can make a story with a character that's had such a hard life, then, you know, if they can make it through, how hard can it be? It's someone you can look up to, someone you aspire to be like. We all go through terrible hardships in our lives because, you know, that's how life is. If it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be life. At the end of the day, though, no matter how terrible life is, you can always look at your punching bag character and think, you know, if they can make it through, I can make it through too. Or maybe we're just being sadistic, I don't know. OC number 2, the philosopher. This is our hashtag deep character. The philosopher is often the mom friend, the character that can actually navigate this terrible world that you've made. A lot of times they'll be a companion to your punching bag, helping them sort through why all these terrible things are happening to them. This character is often the parental figure you needed during your hard times, or sometimes the character you wanted to be when you couldn't help someone, when you didn't know the right thing to say. Usually a character we made in junior high or early high school when we were just discovering how hard the world is and trying to make sense of it. This is often the character that we will drop our deep thoughts and young ideals onto, and sometimes our very enlightened poetry. These characters are a place for us to really hash out our thoughts about the world. You put yourself in their shoes and they're so smart, so you can figure it out. Through this character, we try to take difficult emotions in our lives and make them concrete and understandable, whether it be living in a society. Gosh, that makes it sound like my philosopher's the Joker. He's really not, I promise. Whether it be how you fit into society, or learning to cope with the loss of a loved one, or just trying to figure out who you want to be as a person. This is the character that tries to put those thoughts into words. Through our philosopher characters, we can figure out how to put words on these abstract concepts that some of our other characters can't really handle. This is the character that puts closure on things, the character that remains level-headed and knows what to do for the most part. This is the character through which we can come to terms with deeper, harder concepts in life. This is my philosopher. His name is Sagacious Truthseer. Very original name, I know. I'm very good at coming up with names, guys. OC number 3, the cool character. This is the character that had such a cool concept that nothing else mattered. Where does this character fit into the story? I don't know. You'll build a story around this character. You just had an idea that was so awesome that this character had to be made. Was this an original idea you came up with? Probably not. I mean, people say there are no original ideas left, so is it even possible for it to be an original idea? I don't know, but it was original for you. You came up with this character, you came up with this idea, and it's awesome. And even if you're a bit older now and you're looking back at this character and thinking, you know, maybe it was a little cringy at the time you made it, it doesn't matter. You're never gonna give up this character, because they're awesome. A lot of times the cool character will be very tragic and emo, a little bit of overlap with the punching bag occasionally. Sometimes this character is just flat out invincible. And a lot of times this is the character that you would not put anywhere. You would not share them with anyone, both because of the tiny bit of cringe that you still feel, that little nag of embarrassment for having made a character that, let's be real, is probably a little overpowered, but also because this is such a cool concept that what if you put it out there and someone steals it? Original the character, do not steal. No matter how old you get though, you're gonna keep coming back to this character because gosh dang it if they aren't just awesome. OC number 4, the innocent child. Now this may be a literal character type or a figurative character type. Mine, or the example I'm using for this character at least, I have a lot of OCs, guys. I love my OCs. My innocent child is a literal child, but a lot of times they won't be. They'll just be that precious cinnamon roll that's too good for this world. This character, much like the punching bag, will probably have some crazy backstory, and they've been through the hardest of their life at this point and just need to be protected. A lot of times this character will be the objective character, the damsel in distress that needs to be saved, or the motivation for your team to go forth and change the world to make it a better place for this perfect innocent child. A lot of times though, this is just a precious cinnamon roll that needs to be protected. A lot of times the innocent child character will have some awesome latent power that they are completely unaware of, because let's be real, if you're aware of your awesome OP power set, you're no longer an innocent child, you're the cool character. Is this character based off of someone, or is this built out of all of our internal parental instincts? I'm not entirely sure. I guess it's probably different for everyone. Mine was kind of a combination of both. But regardless, if your world were to become an Inkheart scenario and this character were to show up at your doorstep one day, you would adopt them immediately and make sure nothing bad ever happened to them. They're just too good for this world. OC number 5, the Chosen One. This character was thrown into the plot by a force beyond their control, usually born out of our own internal helplessness and some situation that we have been thrown into. This is the character that often has no idea what's going on and needs just a lot of supporting cast. A lot of times this is a character that you came up with an awesome plot first and created a character for second, unlike the coolest character, which usually comes before the plot. A lot of times this character will be very reluctant to the external forces acting upon them. Sometimes they'll be a very angsty and angry character. Other times they'll be incredibly happy-go-lucky and just go along with the way that life has brought them. This character can be brought about out of a sense of destiny, an idea that there must be more to this life, there must be some sort of purpose. Sometimes you're feeling lost in your own life and you want to see that type of purpose fulfilled, and sometimes it's a really cool idea for a prophecy story that you had and just had to make. Or maybe it's destiny that you made this character. Maybe there's another world out there trying to contact you. Maybe you can see through the dimension, the veil that separates us from the past, the present, the worlds beyond ours. Is this character you? Gosh, I have no idea what I'm going off about. OC number 6, the Murderer. Let's be real, guys. We've all made a murder OC. Does this character come from our internal aggression? I'm not entirely certain. Are we venting our homicidal thoughts, or are we trying to cope with the thought of death? I don't know, maybe we just like drawing blood. Maybe we were just angsty teenagers and thought that, every story had to have a murderer because every story has a murderer. And let's be real, who doesn't love a murder OC? These characters are fun to draw, usually cynical, maniacal, sometimes bordering on psychopathic. These characters are also very good to come up with backstories for. What led this character to go on this murder spree? A lot of times this character will be the antagonist of the story. Because let's be real, what's more threatening than someone who wants to kill you? Sometimes they're just a concept. Sometimes this is your cool character as well, because there are a lot of cool ways to murder people. a lot of times this character will be an actual child. I don't know, maybe it's just like 1000% scarier to have a child trying to murder you. Maybe by drawing all of the murder ideas, we get them out of our systems. Gosh, that's a kind of a pessimistic view on society, isn't it? This character is probably misunderstood in some way because we're trying to find the humanity in everyone. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just plain evil. Either way, who doesn't love a crazy killer? And finally, OC number 7, the self-insert. The self-insert is exactly what it sounds like. This character is you, but in another world. Or at least, what you want to be. This character is surrounded by a posse of other characters that definitely are not self-inserts of your friends. This character definitely didn't start out as a fan character from a different series. It's fine, we all had them, guys. Mine is definitely not a Sonic OC. You know how it is. By the way, we all had Sonic OCs. If you were into Sonic between the ages of 9 and... I'm gonna say 24, you have a Sonic OC, don't lie to me. This character was either forgotten long ago with all the rest of our DeviantArt pasts, or they've undergone a lot of changes to try to hide their somewhat shameful origin story. Again, this character is definitely not a Sonic OC. See the distinct lack of being a hedgehog? This is a cat. Very different. Not a Sonic OC. A lot of times we love this character too much to ever give up, and let's be real, starting out with a fan story is a great way to make a story. A lot of times we build this character out of a world that we love, a story that we already know, and characters that we already love to see, but they kind of take on a personality of their own after a while. And after the 1,500th change, you realize that this is no longer a fan character, this is an original character. This is you. And sometimes we build a new story out of that, out of the new person that they've become, and it's going to be 1,000 times better than the original story we started with. And sometimes we love them just as they are, cringe and all. And those are the 7 OCs that everyone has. Do you have these OCs? Did I miss any OCs? Am I completely wrong with this list? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. And a final thing to leave you on here, I think OCs are a very important part of life, whether they be inserts into another story or too cringy of a concept to bring back. The thing is, you should love your OCs, and you should never be ashamed of them, because everyone has them. Literally everyone. Even professional writers, especially professional writers. The punching bag? Kaneki, Shinji, Edward Elric, the philosopher Koro-sensei, KK Slider, the cool character Kirito Shadow the Hedgehog, the innocent child, Kana, Kirby, the chosen one, Harry Potter, Superman, the murderer, Yuno, Chara, and the self-insert? All of the above. Because we make OCs to figure ourselves out, to figure out who we've been and who we want to be. And we should keep making them, because we're going to keep changing. Life's going to keep throwing terrible, tragic things at us that will one day become our backstories. We're going to evolve from the punching bag to the cool characters of our own stories. Please do not evolve into the murderer character. Please keep that one as an OC. Everyone has a story inside them. Everyone has several stories inside them. And I think it's important to talk about them, and it's wonderful to talk about them. It's awesome to put them down into writing or onto paper. Wear your OCs as a badge of honor. This is you. This is something you made, and a character that only you could create. So, keep drawing, keep writing, keep making stories, keep making characters. And, I don't know, in 10 years maybe they'll be a little cringy, but maybe they'll have changed a little bit. They'll have gotten a little better. They'll have gotten a little more you. Did you think you'd figured out the world when you first learned that, you know, you're not like other kids, you don't like bop-its and recorders? I don't know, what do kids like?